Hey guys, girls and MBs, welcome back to another Touchdesigner video. Today we're going to be looking at the latest update to my Blob tracker. Just a quick few things before we start. Big announcement about the Blob tracker. I was really inspired by the recent release of this open source software, New World, to make this release free and open source. So what that means is that the code that derives this blob tracker that I've made based on OpenCV, which is in here, will be made public and free on my GitHub, links below. I also have a web version of this on my GitHub, so if you're not a developer and still want to play around with a version of blob tracking and also not in Touchdesigner, then you'll have that. The Touchdesigner implementation with all of my combinations of the script and how it's used and the controls and all of that is available through my Patreon. So if you want to build your own version for free, my code is out there for you to do so. But otherwise, today we're going to be going over my implementation here. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So I'm going to quickly zoom through the controls and explain them, then come back and go more in depth into it. So if you just want to know how to use this, we'll quickly get that sorted. So essentially we have the blob tracker here. So you'll drag and drop this into your project file. You then plug in a video source, like a movie, to the input, or you can plug in a webcam feed. Then we have a bunch of different outputs. You can hover over them to see what they do. For example, this first one is just the everything layered together. Then we have one of the pre-made effects here. We also have, again, like last time, a lot of the, you can isolate the different, so we have the displace effects, but you can also isolate the blobs like this. And then if you use tools like composite, so if I plug this one into this one very quickly and then combine it with I'm just plugging in a bunch of random ones like these, and then do your different you can immediately start creating unique effects different to everyone else. So play around with the combinations of the different outputs here. Cool. So that's essentially, how to get it in and out. And obviously, if you want to record your blob tracker content, please connect it to a movie file out. I also want to point out that if you guys do use this tool or, share videos with it, it's not required, but I really appreciate when you guys mention me or tag me in these videos, because then I can see people that are actually using these tools. And it keeps inspiring me to make it better and better. I know a lot of people like to gatekeep how they get shit done, and that's up to personal discretion, but I really appreciate everyone that always tags me and shares what they make with the stuff. It really keeps pushing me to further update it. Alright, let's dive quickly into the controls. So first one we have here is the pre-res scale. Accuracy versus FPS. Essentially, it downscales the video before applying the blob tracking, but it still comes out at 100%. You can see the more we downscale it, the better FPS performance we get, because this is CPU based. So if you have a poor CPU, it will not run as well. But if I bring this up, you'll see the accuracy of the blobs is a lot more precise, but the performance is not as good. But you can still render it out at 60 FPS or whatever you want by just turning the real-time flag off. Also in later versions, I will be bringing GPU rendering. Next we have the pre-blur amount. This is stability versus detail, so if we have no pre-blur, it's going to not blur the image at all before blob tracking, so it'll jump around a lot. But as we add in some blur, it will hold on points more and focus in on the bigger points. Next we have the threshold, which works like a threshold. You can sort of see how it works here as I bring up and down. Next we have the option to invert that threshold, so it will behave the same but focus on the inverted colors of the image. Next we have dotted lines. So if I just quickly go to a familiar look and then turn on trails. So dotted lines essentially just makes the trails and connections, which I'll show next, dotted. I don't have any size controls for these right now, but you can color them independently later. So trails is what we've had previously, which creates like a singular trail between all of the points. What we have now also is connections, which attempts to connect all of the localized blobs into their relative networks like this, and it kind of gets this little spiderweb effect, and I really like it, especially when you use this with trails and color them independently. Leaders are just a quick little add velocity thing that people might be interested in using. Show metrics shows all of the current blobs information just layered over the top. Right now it's just a static position, you can't change it, but if people really like this feature, then I will focus on making this something that you can export out independently and place, wherever you want over your image. The next thing is the ability to change the style of the blobs themselves by turning them into brackets. And I really like this look. It really brings in like a photography UI element. And to accompany that, you have the option of changing the length, like so. And as always, down below, this is also smoothed out a bit more, but you can change the thickness and colors of those brackets / blobs. Next, we have a grid, which is just a simple grid overlay, and it matches the color of the blobs. And you have spacing. It's just another like visual flair element. I'm sort of experimenting with a few different of these in the update, and depending on what people use or don't use, will help determine which of those I refine in future updates. And then grid spacing as well. Size smoothing is for when the blobs are changing size, how much that transition is smoothed. Next we have frame skipping. So this is another tool to help you process it in real time. So if you are interested in using this as a VFX tool, you don't need to render any of this in real time, obviously, so you can turn all of these up to the max. But for frame skipping, essentially you can see here when I have 3 frames skipped, it's quite obvious. But if I turn it down to 1, it doesn't really, it's not that obvious that it's skipping frames, because it's skipping every 1 frame, so every second frame it's rendering. But the performance is significantly better. Max blobs is the max amount of blobs you have on the screen at one time. Pretty self-explanatory. Next we have draw trails, which works the same. And then you can make the length that. I've turned the smoothing into a toggle, so you can sort of like slowly transition between it, like so. ID coordinates, show IDs and ID coordinates, like so. Blob thickness, of course, max size, min size, all of that. Now we have box and trail color. You can color and them independently from one another, like so. And then fast blob tracking, experimental, which is for if you want to develop out your own GPU rendering here. But for most people, it's not super useful. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video.